Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm here to give you guys my reviews for WWE NXT UK, and this is the first NXT UK of 2019. So now this is going to be like the real testing point to see if NXT UK can last forever. We'll see if it does last forever. Let's hope it does. Um, and let's get right into these episodes. This is for NXT UK, January 2nd, 2019. These are episodes 21 and 22, and I'm going to structure these reviews the same way, where I'll watch one episode, then review it, and then do the same thing for the next one, and then just combine them all into one video. And I'm really excited to watch episode 21 because we're going to have the in-ring return of Travis Banks, and we're also going to have the inaugural NXT UK Tag Team Championship semifinals match. It's going to be Mustache Mountain versus Mark Coffey and Wolfgang. Really excited about that match. Obviously, that feud's been going on for a while, so really excited to watch this episode of NXT UK, and let's get right into episode 21. Okay, so starting off with episode 21, which aired on January 2nd, 2019, and we have the commentary team of Nigel McGuinness and Vic Joseph, and we had the first match on the show. It was the return of Travis Banks. He wrestled Jamie Armed. I think that's how you say that. And it was a good match here. It was really just to reestablish Travis Banks being back in NXT UK. And he had some really nice moves in this match. But Travis Banks ends up winning with a springboard spin kick. And then afterwards, he gets confronted by Jordan Devlin. And he pretty much exposes Travis Banks, saying that since he's joined the wrestling business, or at least WWE, I don't know, but I'm just going to assume the wrestling business, he hasn't talked to his family in months. And I love the jabs he was giving him by saying that, he comes here and collects a paycheck, but I still talk to my family, but your parents probably don't even remember your voice. And obviously this pisses off Travis Banks, and he says, this probably makes you want to attack me, but just remember that you never go against the ace. And obviously, I'd imagine this is probably going to be a match at NXT UK TakeOver Blackpool, which I'd be very, very, very alright with. And then we had the build-up to the NXT UK Tag Team Championship Tournament semifinals match between Mustache Mountain and Gallus, showing everything they ever done to them. And then we had another tag team match on this show, the first of two. It was Kenny Williams and Amir Jordan versus Marcel Bartel, or however you pronounce his last name, and Fabian Eichner. I thought this was a pretty good tag team match. The heels get the heat for a long-ass time on Amir Jordan. I thought it was funny because Amir Jordan's trying to do his dance thing, and Marcel Bartel is just not having none of it. He just decks him and just completely drops him. But I thought Fabian Eichner and Marcel Bartel looked like an awesome tag team here. I think they could be a hell of a tag team in NXT UK. They hit a really cool, spine buster, chin kick to the face on Amir Jordan, and they just hit some awesome tag team moves. Eventually, Kenny Williams does get the hot tag, and he goes off on him a little bit. He hits a really cool drop kick on the outside onto Fabian Eichner. But Amir Jordan makes the mistake and tags himself back in. And Marcel Bartel destroys him. He throws him into the post, and he drop kicks him, whips first into the post, and he hits a overhead back suplex, dropping Amir Jordan on his neck. And he tries to get the win, but Kenny Williams breaks up the pinfall, and Fabian Eichner throws him into the barricade. And Fabian Eichner and Marcel Bartel get the win. I honestly don't remember how. I don't remember what the double T. I think they hit like a spinning power bomb into it was a power bomb into a German suplex combination. That's how they got the win. But obviously, I'm fine with this. I like the team of Marcel Bartel and Fabian Eichner. I thought they looked really strong out there. And I thought this was a pretty good tag team match. And then Tony Storm and Deonna Purrazzo I have in a segment. What's his name? The interviewer, I can't think of, Bragsley, is at like a venue where the next set of NXT UK tapings are going to take place. And then he overhears this commotion go down between Toni Storm and Deonna Purrazzo, and Deonna Purrazzo thinks that she should be the one going to NXT UK TakeOver Blackpool and challenging for the NXT UK Women's Championship. So Toni Storm challenges her to prove it by facing her in a match, and Deonna Purrazzo accepts. She shakes her hand, and Deonna Purrazzo says that she's looking forward to breaking it. So I actually like this. This sets up a match between them two, and I thought it was a nice way to do this. And then Johnny Saint and Sid Scala get interviewed, and they're talking about the NXT UK TakeOver Blackpool show, and Joe Coffey comes up, and he's very upset that he's had to come find them demanding a title match when they should be looking for him, giving him a title match. So what ends up happening is they said they're going to take him under advisement about giving him an NXT UK Championship match, and they dismiss him and stuff. But I thought this was a good backstage segment, and this set up a very good segment at the end of the show. Then we had Candy Floss versus Ginny. Candy Floss is very fun, just playing a ton of mind games on Ginny throughout this match. And this ends up visibly frustrating Ginny, but eventually she gets the upper hand and wins the match with a whipcord enziguri, which I hate that finisher, but it's a finisher, so it is what it is. But, Ginny looked strong in this match, and I thought Candice Floss looked very fun in this match, so that's that. She targeted the arm of a lot of Ginny, which probably was setting her up for like some sort of submission move, so yeah, I thought this was fine. Then we had the main event. It was an NXT UK Tag Team Championship Tournament semifinals match. Mustache Mountain versus Mark Coffey and Wolfgang, with Joe Coffey ringside, but he actually doesn't go out there because he has confidence in Mark Coffey and Wolfgang that they'll win the match themselves. But I find it kind of funny that they pretty much just had this unannounced NXT UK Tag Team Championship Tournament, because I'm guessing when they were, taping these shows, they probably said at the tapings that this is a NXT UK Tag Team Championship Tournament, but they didn't say, if you're watching this just on television or on the network, you wouldn't know that it's an NXT UK Championship tournament. So I think it's actually pretty funny how they did this. We had the match itself. Tyler Bate and Mark Coffey start off the match, and Tyler Bate immediately starts off aggressive with a wicked dropkick just right off the bat on Mark Coffey, and Mustache Mountain gained the advantage throughout the first half of the match. But then eventually, the match starts to spill into chaos, and, Mark Coffey and Wolfgang utilize this to get the upper hand on Tyler Bate, and they dominate him for a little while, and then eventually Trent Seven gets the hot tag, but eventually he makes the mistake in going for the 7-star lariat, and tries to hit it on, I believe it was Mark Coffey, but then Wolfgang tags himself in because he was going for like the whipcord part of it and stuff, and they get the upper hand on him. Wolfgang hit the 6 senton just right to the side of Trent Seven. I thought he could have like broken his ribs right there. And they dominate Trent Seven for a long time, and they hit some really nice tag team moves on him. Eventually, he's about to make the tag, but then they cheap shot Tyler Bate, prevented him from getting the tag, throw him outside the ring, and behind the referee's back, Mark Coffey goes for a suplex on the outside, but Trent Seven reverses it, and he gets the hot tag on Tyler Bate, and he hits a dive on the outside, and he just comes in like a house on fire on Mark Coffey and Wolfgang, and he hits some awesome tag team moves. There was the spot where Mark Coffey did like the sleeper hold onto Tyler Bate, and Tyler Bate had like Wolfgang set up for a German suplex, and he still hits it even though Mark Coffey is on his shoulders and this doing the sleeper hold, and this obviously got him off the sleeper hold. But it was awesome. It was it was like freakishly strength because you wouldn't expect Tyler Bate, a guy that small, to have that type of strength. And then the right knee, though, of Trent Seven gives out when he goes after Mark Coffey, and they're setting up the finish to the match, but Mark Coffey hits an enziguri on Tyler Bate. He kicks out of it, and Mark Coffey summons for Joe Coffey, his brother, to come out, so that way, they can have the advantage. But who comes out instead? None other than Pete Dunne, which obviously this was a huge moment because we hadn't seen Pete Dunne since not the Plymouth shows, but I think we didn't see him in the Liverpool shows. Well, this is the Liverpool shows, but we hadn't seen him at all in the Plymouth tapings. So I don't know the last time. The last time I remember seeing Pete Dunne is when they did like a big brawl. But I forget which tapings that was on off the top of my head. But he comes out and he takes out Joe Coffey, hits an X-Plex on the apron. And this allows Mustache Mountain to hit their half-and-half suplex into a rebound clothesline onto, I believe, Mark Coffey for the win. And, Mustache Mountain advances to NXT UK TakeOver Blackpool in the finals of the tournament, where they're going to face some type of heel tag team probably. But then afterwards, Gallus starts to attack British Strong Style, and they get the advantage on him. But then British Strong Style fights back, and they send Gallus packing. And Pete Dunne gets on the mic and says that he talked to NXT UK General Manager Johnny Saint, and says that at NXT UK TakeOver Blackpool, he's going to defend his NXT UK Championship against Joe Coffey, which obviously Joe Coffey's very happy about this. And you think the show is going to go off the air, but then Gallus runs back into the ring, and British Strong Style brawl with them, and they have this big brawl as the show goes off the air, which I thought was awesome. I kind of like when they do that type of stuff because it makes the show feel like that it still goes on afterwards and stuff. And then afterwards, they do a WWE.com exclusive interview with Mustache Mountain talking about how they're aiming to make history again at Empress Ballroom when they win when they become the first ever NXT UK Tag Team Champions. And that was pretty much the end of episode 21 of NXT UK. I thought it was a great episode. I thought it did a very good job of setting up a lot of stuff for NXT UK TakeOver Blackpool and some, setting up some immediate matches. Like I liked the setup of the Travis Banks Jordan Devlin feud. I did like the tag team match with Marcel Bartel and Fabian Eichner versus Kenny Williams and Amir Jordan. I liked Candy Floss versus Ginny. I liked the setup of Toni Storm versus Deonna Purrazzo. And I obviously liked the main event and how it set up, the NXT UK Tag and NXT UK Championship matches. And I just thought that was just a hell of a main event. So I'm going to give this episode a B+. I thought it was great. And that's pretty much the end of this review. Now I'm going to go review episode 22 and have that up when I get an opportunity. Okay, so now on to NXT UK episode 22 that aired on the same date. We had the first match. It was Toni Storm versus Deonna Purrazzo. This match was really good, obviously, because Toni Storm's awesome and Deonna Purrazzo's awesome, so they would obviously have an awesome match. And they did. They both do chain wrestling holds on each other where they both kind of keep getting the advantage on each other. And eventually, Toni Storm goes to show Deonna Purrazzo respect, but Deonna Purrazzo's not having any of that because her competition is taking over. So, competitiveness, I should have said. She kicks her arm away, and this brings out an aggressive Toni Storm, and she hits like a wicked drop kick while Deonna Purrazzo's sitting down. But then eventually Deonna Purrazzo takes control of the match and works over the left arm of Toni Storm. She hit this really sick arm breaker where she really bent her arm back. It was absolutely awesome. Toni Storm mounts a comeback, hits a hip attack into the corner, hits a really cool missile drop kick. But Deonna Purrazzo hits a German suplex herself, and she goes for the Fujiwara armbar, but Toni Storm counters it. Hits a snap German suplex into the Storm Zero for the win after 2 attempts. But this match was really good. Definitely give this match a watch. It's really good. Afterwards, Rhea Ripley comes out and they have a face-off, which obviously I was fine with this because this builds up to their NXT UK Women's Championship match at NXT UK TakeOver Blackpool. So I thought this was some awesome stuff right here. And then Johnny Saint and Sid Scala get interviewed, and they announce that on the next episode of NXT UK, there's going to be the second semifinals match in the NXT UK Tag Team Championship tournament between James Drake and Zach Gibson versus Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster. Really looking forward to that match. Can't wait to see it. Then we had Josh Morwell versus Mike Hitchman. Mike Hitchman got his first win in NXT UK, which I thought was awesome. But I thought this was actually a pretty decent match. Josh Morwell, I thought, for an enhancement talent, looked pretty strong out there. He had some really nice leg drops and Pele's. But Mike Hitchman, obviously, this was mainly a showcase for him. He hits a really awesome senton right across the back of Josh Morwell. Hits a German suplex into the corner, and then the cannonball, drops all his weight into his corner, and then hits a splash off the top rope for the win, or the top turnbuckle, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, Mike Hitchman got the win. I was obviously okay with this. Hope that this means that he's in line for a push. Then Joseph Connors does a promo and talks about how when he was signed to NXT UK 2 years ago, he was met with all these promises, but then found out that these were all just lies, and says that they were told that we are NXT UK, but that was a lie. Only one person could be NXT UK, and he's going to absolutely destroy everybody else in NXT UK to prove that. And then Travis Banks does a promo and is upset with Jordan Devlin that he questioned his nationality, and every time he comes out he thinks about New Zealand, and he said that he's going to make Jordan Devlin regret it. I thought it was a good promo. And then Marcel Bartel, Fabian Eichner, and Sid Scala are backstage, and Marcel Bartel and Fabian Eichner are upset that they didn't get put into the NXT UK Tag Team Championship semifinals match, so they demand to be put in it. But Sid Scala, says that they haven't been in NXT UK that long. They only just came together as a team, so their access to be in it's been denied. And they say that if they interfere in the match on the next episode, they will be fired from NXT UK. And then that was it. I actually like this because obviously that kind of takes that caveat out of the match now, so it makes the match a little less predictable. And then we had Dave Master versus Eddie Dennis. This was just an absolute brawl. Eddie Dennis seizes control in the beginning and hits a ton of Irish whips, sending Dave Massive back first into the turnbuckle. But then Dave Massive turns it around and beats the crap out of Eddie Dennis. He goes to clothesline him out of the ring, but Eddie Dennis escapes. Eddie Dennis goes for that Razor's Edge or High Cross powerbomb, but Dave Massive reverses it and hits a fireman's carry on the floor. And then he goes to charge at him, but then gets put into the steps. And they're both, are about to get counted out, but they just beat the count, and they just brawling so much that they accidentally show the referee. So the referee declares it a double disqualification, but Dave Massive and Eddie Dennis just don't give a shit, and they just continue to brawl. And Sid Scala tries to come out, break it up to no avail. So Johnny Saint comes out and makes Dave Massive versus Eddie Dennis at NXT UK TakeOver Blackpool in a no disqualification match. I thought all this was a hell of a segment and a hell of a way to build it up. And then we had the main event segment on the show. It was an NXT UK Championship contract signing between Joe Coffey and Pete Dunne. And Joe Coffey gets on the mic and says that this is his NXT UK and that Pete Dunne's held that title for a long time, but the only reason that he has is because Joe Coffey hasn't been in the company pretty much, and says that he's going to take that title from him at NXT UK and make NXT UK his. And he goes to sign the contract, and Pete Dunne stops him and says that he talks too much, and he breaks Joe Coffey's fingers. He signs the contract, and then when Pete Dunne goes to leave, then he says, "See you at NXT UK TakeOver Blackpool," which is in at the Empress Ballroom. I don't know if he said the arena or the show, I forget. And then Mark Coffey and Wolfgang are standing on the stage. So this distracts Pete Dunne long enough for Joe Coffey to get the upper hand on him, and he powerbombs Pete Dunne to the table and holds up the NXT UK Championship, and the show goes off the air. But I thought this was a great episode of NXT UK. I thought it was absolutely locked. I thought it did a very good job of building up NXT UK TakeOver Blackpool with the Travis Banks promo. I'd imagine they have something set up for Joseph Connors at NXT UK TakeOver Blackpool. I liked Tony Storm versus Deonna Purrazzo. I thought that was a really good match. I liked how they set up the NXT UK tag team semifinals match on the next episode. The Dave Mastiff, Eddie Dennis stuff I enjoyed. Mike Hitchman's match I enjoyed with Josh Morrell. And I obviously enjoyed the contract signing. So I thought this was a great episode. I'm going to give it a B+. So yeah, that was a great episode. And that's the end of my NXT UK reviews for episodes 21 and 22. Thank you guys for watching this video. Please make sure you guys like, comment, and share this video so people will watch it. Make sure you guys subscribe to this channel for more content and click on the bell so that way every time I upload a video, you guys will get the notifications for it. And make sure you guys do the same thing for my CM brothers and all the Talking 80 YouTube channels. And that's pretty much it, guys. Talk to you later.